Mark and Paulette here, the two geezers in Mexico. Two travelers in Mexico. And today we thought we'd talk to you about what our expectations were when we came to Mexico and have those expectations been met or not. For me, when I came here, I knew that I would love Mexico, but I didn't have any other real expectations than that. And that has definitely come true for me. I love Mexico even more than I thought that I would when we came here. There are just many reasons for that. It's the people that live here, the Mexicans. They've all been very kind to us. They'll just sometimes come up to you and talk to you on the street. Mm-hmm. And they're always thankful that that you're in their country, and even more thankful when we tell them that we actually live here and are buying a home. Mexico it's an interesting country. If you come here with the expectations, that it's going to be like the United States, it's not. It's not going to be like the United States. Things are different. It's not better or worse, just different. When you go to as an example, to get medical benefits set up, or a lot of even the governmental offices, those are just going to sometimes take 2 or 3 trips, whereas in the United States, the expectation might be that you have, just 1 trip, and it's all taken care of. But, again, Mexico is not the United States, and that actually is fine with us. Mexico is not the United States, and we didn't expect it would be.
That's why we moved here.
Right.
We wanted to change, something different, to experience a different culture, see another part of a country that we'd never really seen before, learn about it, embrace it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're doing. Even with my frustrations sometimes when they still happen. Most of my frustrations, I'm going to tell you, is due to me and him, Mark. Mm-hmm. We've been really bad about learning our Spanish, really bad. We say we're going to do it, we're going to take an hour, a night to do it, and we don't.
Right.
And that is probably my most frustrating thing being here, is that language barrier, and it's all because of me. Mm-hmm. It's all because of me. We still figure it out. You can still get it with translator, or you can kind of figure out what they're asking or what they're saying, or, pretty close. But honestly, I would say, learn your Spanish. And I know that Jeff and Kathleen, you're learning your Spanish now before you even come, in the next 6 months to a year or longer. And that's fantastic. We started to do that before we went to Ecuador. That was, 5 years ago now?
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years ago. It's been 5 years. What the hell is our problem?
Yeah, that we have definitely not met our own expectations.
Yeah, Mexico has met my expectations. I have not met my expectations.
Yeah, we haven't met our own expectations as far as learning the language goes, and that's on us. However, that doesn't take away from our enjoyment of Mexico
not at all.
Or living here in Mexico. But we do realize that that's something that we need to really work on. The other things about Mexico that we really enjoy for me, and we talked about this many times before, is the architecture. How many times, how many areas in the United States can you go to and stand in a plaza and be surrounded by buildings that are 3, 4, sometimes even 500 years old, and are just amazingly beautiful buildings. Where can you go in the United States where people are just out with their families having a good time, you know, in a plaza at like 8, 9, 10, sometimes even 11 o'clock at night. You know, that's just fantastic to us. You know, it's a very family-oriented culture here.
That's definitely,
For sure.
yeah, it's definitely pretty family-oriented. You know, and like we had mentioned before in a previous video that, you know, if you meet a Mexican family and you embrace them as much as they embrace you, you become part of that family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we talk to people, you know, for a little while, and then, like, you know, later on in the conversation, you know, they want us to come over for dinner or something like that. You know, and you don't get that in the U.S. most of the time.
No, and you don't get where you see a foreigner in the U.S. where an American usually will approach them to make a conversation and ask them, hey, where are you from? Are you on vacation? You know, what do you think of Mexico? You know, whatever.
Right.
You don't get that in the United States. Here
Right.
you do.
Right.
I mean, that happens often.
Yeah, they're interested to see in you and where you came from and why you're in their country. And a lot of times they want you to give them your impression of Mexico. And then they're always really happy when you tell them, oh, we live here. You know?
Yeah, that usually kind of throws them because most of the time they think that we're visiting, you know, on vacation.
Yeah.
And then when we tell them, no, that we live here, then it's like, oh, you know, now we'll be telling them, yeah, you know, like we bought a house here, you know, we live here permanently. Mark and I knew that we wanted to retire in Mexico. We've checked out other areas, but 4 years ago or whatever it was now, when we came to Mexico on vacation, we just fell in love with it. And so we thought that we had to moving here now. I mean, we're still very much in love with this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the people, we say it every time. I repeat myself. I sound like a broken record when I say, you know, the people, the culture, the beauty, the history of Mexico.
And we're not just saying that out of any obligation.
Right.
We say it because we genuinely feel it in our hearts.
Right. You know, we weren't sure what topic we were going to talk about, but, you know, as always, Mexico is always so dear to our heart. We thought we would just, you know, discuss about our expectations. Now, I know that a lot of people that have never been to Mexico have different ideas about Mexico, I think. A lot of it's from reading the newspaper, you know, what's being reported on the news, or just somebody's bad experience about Mexico, something like that. Now, we didn't have a previous bad experience. People had told me their bad experiences, probably 3 people before we came here. They thought that I was crazy. You know, and most of them always said, you know, you're going to get robbed, you know, you're going to get murdered, you're going to get held for hostage, you know, for money, those sort of things. And I think that that's a lot of people's expectations, or not expectations, but that's their
fear.
That's their fear of Mexico, you know, and cartels. That's, I think, another fear, you know, that you're going to get murdered by the cartels. You know, we haven't been here that long. We've been here 17 months. And in those 17 months, I mean, we fall in love with Mexico every day more and more. We walk home at night, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
11:30.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I mean, we have no fear issues living here. I think that, you know, maybe there are some areas that aren't as safe, you know, but there's a lot of areas in the United States that aren't real safe that, you know, to stay out of.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really no different, I think, than other places in the United States. I mean, I've done a lot of traveling before Mark and I retired here to Mexico. a lot of international traveling, not just within the United States. So I've seen a lot of different things. However, Mexico just really stole my heart, and I'm so happy that it stole Mark's just as much, because that makes it a lot easier. If two people feel the same way about moving to that country, selling all your possessions, your home, everything that you've had, to come try a new lifestyle, to come try a new culture.
Yeah. Just something new, something that maybe you're even unprepared for, but just dive into it,
Yeah, and I think that if you're open-minded, I think you're going to have a better time at adjusting to Mexico, or maybe any other country that's out there that you're not familiar with, that you don't know all that well. But I think if you keep an open mind, you're willing to learn, you're willing to go with the flow, so to speak, and embrace it. Embrace it also. Embrace everything that country has to offer. I think you're going to be more, what am I trying to say?
Well, I think you're going to be happier, for one, with your decision.
Yeah, I think that your chances of staying are going to be much greater if you do that. If you come here with, Mexico doesn't do this, and they don't do that, and they don't offer this, and they don't have this. Well, right there you're starting to set yourself up, I think. You're starting to set yourself up for failure. Because, Mexico might not have those things, but Mexico has other things to offer.
Yeah.
And there's always, Amazon Mexico? There's always, there's sites that you can get stuff on if you really want to have stuff, that you're used to and makes you happy and whatever. But, my experience talking to expats that have moved to Mexico is that they don't need a lot of that stuff. Most of them just pack a suitcase, suitcase or two, and they start their adventure here. And I think the higher percentage of those that do it that way will embrace the country more and will stay for longer.
Yeah.
That's kind of my opinion. I don't know.
You just have to come here with an open mind and an open heart, knowing that Mexico's not like the U.S. in many ways. Don't expect it to be.
And if you do expect it to be like the U.S., then maybe Mexico isn't your cup of tea.
Yeah. When we came here, we both realized that Mexico's not like the U.S. Before we came here. In a lot of ways, we just embrace the country that much more because it is different than
Mexico.
Different than the U.S., sorry.
Mexico, for example, okay, the other day we went into town. I had to do my labs, okay? So I did some labs. God, they did so many labs on me, it was crazy. I didn't even know what I was doing. My doctor wrote up for 10 different labs to be done, and next thing I know, I've got 44 different ones. So I don't know if something was lost in translation, but that's a side note. Okay, so I go to the lab. All right. What happened on our way? We ended up buying a blanket from a street vendor. We walked to town to go get labs done. Next thing we know, we're buying a blanket.
That's the thing, Mexico, you can walk a few blocks and be offered almost a lot of different things for sale. In this case, we bought a beautiful blanket. It was like 800 pesos, but it's
$40. He started out at $1,200.
Yeah.
And I really didn't need it. We're just walking home.
Yeah.
Right? And they have what do you call those cart things that they were pushing it on?
Oh, it was like a dolly.
Like a dolly. They were using a dolly.
And they had about,
20 blankets
stacked up on there.
Yeah, 20, maybe 40 blankets,
Yeah.
all folded up on there. And
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it's always something that
Mm-hmm.
you're going to pass somebody that's selling something. It's just how Mexico is. And you're going to find that at the stoplights. Always, you're going to find that at the stoplights. You could be driving down the road. There's a vendor selling tacos. You're hungry. Pull over, buy some tacos. Maybe the next vendor is selling some strawberries. You know, buy some strawberries with crema on it if you want, or just a whole basket of strawberries. Pull into a gas station. There was a man that was selling 3 different flavors of juice. You know, it's bottled up. You know, support the locals. That's what I'm talking about. Or another thing is driving down the road and you see a vendor selling pots, right? For your plants. You can get small sizes to big sizes to huge sizes. You know, you just strike a deal, you see something you like. I mean, that is awesome. It's kind of like a flea market all the time driving down the roads in Mexico.
And it could be on a regular road, could be on a federal highway.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere.
And I mean, that's how I buy a lot of my pots, my clay pots. You know, and I'm very happy with them. And again, I am also supporting a local, right? Rather than buying it at a store, why not buy it from somebody that's taking the time to do this himself? You know, he's got his own entrepreneurship of making pottery. Support him. You know, if you need pots, if you need whatever that they're selling. That's what I say, you know, juice, honey, ceramic pots, a straw hat. I don't know.
You know, most of this stuff, you know, obviously you didn't set out to buy that day, but some of it is, you know, hey, that's pretty cool. I want that, you know, and honestly, sometimes we just buy stuff, not necessarily because we need it. It's really more just to help out, you know, the people that are selling, because in the end, they're really just trying to support their family. Whether, you know, a lot of times you'll see the mom and the dad and their kids, you know, standing on an intersection, waiting for the light to turn red so that they can try to sell, you know, the people that are stopped.
Or juggle, or the father does the fire.
Fire.
Oh, that cannot be good for you. I mean, wash your windshields. You know, people will dress up as clowns, do their juggling on the street. Sometimes they'll ride those, what are those cycles called? Like those?
Unicycle?
Yeah, unicycle. You know, while doing something. Oh gosh, I don't even know. I mean,
sometimes you can get your windows washed half a dozen times just going to the grocery store.
Right. And when you're at the grocery store, you can also get your car washed.
Which we did the other day, and it was well worth it.
Yeah. I mean, Costco's, Walmart's. I don't remember if they had it at H-E-B or not. I don't remember seeing them there, but we didn't have our car either. But a lot of those stores will do that. Where did we go the other day when we went to Home Depot. We went to Home Depot to look at appliances, and they're out there, you know, with their buckets in the hot sun, and you know, so yeah, I'm like, yeah, you can wash the car. It was dirty and it needed it. And that was, he charges 50 pesos, which was like $2.50.
Of course, we gave more than that.
Yeah, which we gave him more than that. But I mean, it's just, it's kind of cool though, if you think about it. I mean, how many of you could go to Home Depot and get your car washed at the same time while you're inside shopping?
Yeah.
Not many.
You just, you know, for us, I think Paulette and I really love and appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit here. You know, if they're out there, people are just out there trying to earn a living, you know, no matter what way they can think of. They're not relying necessarily on welfare or
because there is no
like
welfare, right?
They're trying to support their families, and so you know, we are generous with those people, and we encourage everybody else to be generous with those people too. Right.
I mean, from anything that they make. I mean, you're talking selling baskets, selling you know, baskets, hats,
One of your favorite people, the honey guy, selling honey out
Selling
in front
the-
of,
yeah. That's in
Sam's
front of
Club.
Sam's. Yeah. I mean, and that's a good size thing of honey. I'll show you. Mark can keep talking. I'll show you my honey.
So she's gonna go get her container. We actually bought 2 pretty good sized containers of honey, and of course it's organic honey. And what did we pay for those?
They're $5 each.
But take a look at the size of the container.
This is my fuller one, and you can still see the honeycomb
Yeah.
on top. Maybe not so well on camera, but you can see the honeycomb. And can I buy this inside of the store? Absolutely. I could buy honey inside of any store, but you know what? I'm going to wait for my honey man
Honey guy, yeah.
to be selling his product, and I'm going to buy from him. And that's what I choose to do on a lot of different things is just buy from them, just buy from the locals. If whatever you can, if you can buy from the locals, that would be great. But what I was starting to say is there's so many, they just pick a corner, set up their food stands, and there you go. No permit, no nothing needed.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with down in the historical area in the center of town. They just lay out their goods that they're selling, whether it's toys, balloons, hats,
Purses, bags.
Blankets, mezcal,
Yeah.
what else?
Yeah.
It's just
Just a lot of different things, and no one hassles
rocks,
them.
like different stones, right?
And no one hassles them. No one tells them, oh, you have to pack up and move your stuff. That's not permitted here. People just go out there and set up and sell their stuff, and at the end of the day, pack up and go home, and then probably come back again tomorrow. And it's just the way it is here. People are permitted to do stuff like that.
So, do we shop at Sam's? Do we shop at Walmart's? Do we shop at Costco's? Yeah, we do for certain things. But there's, Soriano's, there's HEB's. What are some of the other stores that are here? Do you remember?
Well, there's like a Mega Maxi, Superama, and a few other places.
Those would be
that.
like a Safeway or Rayleigh's kind of a store, something like that. There's also organic stores where you can find products in there too.
Now, like in the United States, as an example, if someone is trying to sell their stuff out in front of a Safeway or one of these other places, the store managers would be out there kicking them off the property. Here,
Oh, they'd be calling the police on them to remove
Here?
them from their premises.
here it doesn't. They don't care.
Yeah, they're all over. Just all over in front of every single store. And it's just how Mexico is. And I love that. I love that part about Mexico. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome because you can't do that with all the restrictions that are in the United States.
Yeah.
Not allowed. You need a permit. You need this. You need that. You need to jump through the hoops, and what have you. But not here in Mexico. And I really like that a lot about Mexico.
Yeah. Mexico, in many ways, the people are a lot freer to do things
Yeah.
than they are in the U.S. Another thing that I was going to bring up was, as an example, that you hear a lot of sound. People play a lot of music here in Mexico, and parties go on till 2 or 3 in the morning. But that's just an accepted thing. No one, ever calls the police on them or anything like that, like you might have in the United States. People just live their lives and have a good time, and if that good time goes to 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, so be it.
Yeah. Where we're living, it's really pretty quiet. There's a place that does have parties maybe twice a month till about 3 or 4 in the morning with the band and stuff like that, and that's fine. I can sleep through it. I don't have a problem falling asleep.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either. It's just sound, and just know that somewhere someone's having a good time.
You know, and you know, dogs barking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's another thing. It's just kind of part of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Mexico, the sounds of Mexico. And, you know, you need to learn to embrace that too.
Mm-hmm.
As difficult as that might be for some of you, you know, it's part of the culture.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is.
Yeah. And those are just some of the reasons, many of the reasons why we love Mexico as much as we do. But Mexico is an amazing country with lots of amazing experiences.
A lot of diversity here.
A lot of diversity, yeah.
You know, and Mexico does have its poor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there's no denying that. But look at the U.S. Do we have a homeless situation?
Yeah.
Do we have, you know, a lot of poor people there?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mexico's really no different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really no different. And I mean, from being from the United States and coming to Mexico, and me being in other countries, it does exist everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got your rich, you've got your, you know, your standard living, you've got your below standard living in every country.
Yeah. All in all, Paulette and I both feel very fortunate to be
Blessed.
able to call Mexico home. It's just an amazing experience for us, and has been an amazing experience, and will continue to be one, I'm sure. What she did.
Bye, guys.
Bye.